I came to the 5-week program and it was my first night here. I had registered for my classes and I had gone back to the dorms. I had a single dorm room, so I didn't have a roommate, and I'm sitting there, and I'd come from a town where the reason I came here is I felt I didn't have enough people to play with. So really my goal in coming to Berklee for the first time, the 5-week program, was to find people to play with. And I get back to my dorm room and I have my equipment there, and I'm like, well, I might as well drag it into the practice rooms. This is in the this is in the 150 building.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they have the practice and the drum rooms directly next to each other. I don't know if it's still that way, but back then it was like that.
Yeah.
And so I just go in there and I start shredding. And next thing you know, Adam Deitch walks in as I'm shredding, and he goes, "Hey man, I couldn't help but overhearing you play. I have my drums set up over there. You sound really good. Would you mind bringing your stuff in the drum room and jamming?" I was like, "Sure." So it was the very first night of Berklee, and I go in there, and Adam and I jam for a couple hours, and then we go back to my room and we hang out. We end up going downstairs playing ping pong, and then next thing you know, a couple days pass, and he's like, "Man, you gotta meet this bass player," and it's Eric Coomes, and he was also on the 7th floor.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later from that, like he ends up hanging out in Zoidis' room.
Yep.
And that's where you were hanging out, and we look at each other and we're like, "Wait a second, we know each other from the National Guitar Star Workshop in Connecticut." And
then we all stuffed our stuff into one of the rooms.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we was one of the. It was like was it an ensemble?
It was an ensemble room in 150. It was right near the MP&E rooms. Our first gig was actually at the Wilson House at Tufts University.
Yeah.
It's actually the 5-week when
Calf show. Or the calf show.
Oh, that's a calf show, but that wasn't really our first gig.
It wasn't
outside.
Right.
Yeah.
The Black Sheep,
Yeah.
Black Sheep family reunion.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah.
That wasn't the weirdest.
That wasn't the weirdest.
That was weird.
I remember one where we played at the, well, there's just a random one that we did where where Shmeeans got bit by a dog.
Oh yeah.
And
Northeastern frat party.
But the quick little story on that one, we were playing at Northeastern, and I think that was the one where the guy put up the flyer. Has anyone seen Lettuce?
That is, they were handing them out on Newberry Street, and Eric got the flyer.
It said, "Has anyone seen this band Lettuce?" Because you know, there's no website back then. There's no anything.
Looking for Lettuce. That's right. Have you heard this awesome band?
And there was, and we had played at Tufts, and someone from Northeastern was there, and then they put this flyer up. And anyway, I somehow got in touch with the guy, and I remember going there, and it was the Boston Marathon, and we couldn't get our van with our equipment across to where it was for some reason. So for hours we were driving around in the circle, and we were like hours late. And we showed up, they were like freaking out, and then this dog ran up and bit you.
Saint Bernard.
It was like the biggest Saint Bernard you've ever seen. I still have a scar on my leg.
Yeah. And anyway, but then we ended up playing, and I think all of us crashed on Butler's floor.
There was no crash.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, we pooled all the money to buy Chinese food that night.
Yeah. I remember where it actually happened.
What? You think they thought?
We were in
Go for
your
it.
room. We were in your room in Commonwealth Building 270 with Nick.
We don't know how we got the name. We have no idea.
Well, I'll tell you where it came
It's a
from.
little bit of a green area right there.
I'll tell you where it came from. We would show, and we've told this story a bunch of times. We would show up to gigs. Like I remember there was one actually also at Tufts. We would show up to gigs where maybe we would know one guy in the band, or maybe even not. We'd go up to them during their set break and say, "Let us play." And that was like our initial gigs. You know, and like usually it would start with him going up there. And
I'd be like, "What is that, a Fender? Wow,
We'd
those
start
are
playing.
so interesting."
Behind the drum kit and start, and then and that was how it was called Lettuce Takeover. And there's been many of them through the years. Not as many as there should be lately, actually. actually.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
I
in
do,
the first 10 years of Lettuce, like a lot of gigs were Lettuce takeover.
I swear.
We did take one of those.
Eric used to just sit in and turn the other person's bass amp up so loud and blow the speaker, and he must have blown like 3-4 people's bass amps for sure.
Also
To this day, I still don't let you play my rig.
Trader Joe's.
You have chosen.
100% Trader Joe's.
Miles Davis, Tower of Power, James Brown, Earth, Wind and Fire, Prince,
Oh, wow.
Jimi Hendrix,
Maceo.
Maceo, which falls under the James Brown category. Lettuce.
Okay.
Russell
Bro, I love Russell Scratch.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.